欢迎收看，
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 欢迎收看，欢迎收看，
欢迎收看
宁化区块链。
宁化区块链，
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 宁化区块链，宁化区块链，
宁化区块链，
宁化区块链。
The program exclusively titled by EOS 老猫。EOS 老猫 focus on EOS ecology。Hello， 大家好，我是韦宁，欢迎收看宁化区块链第3季。上一季我们邀请了10个以中国为主的 EOS 超级节点竞选团队，他们为我们清晰地勾勒出 EOS 在主网上线前的样子。这一季我们邀请到了来自全球8个国家的 EOS 超级节点竞选团队，一同勾勒出主网上线后的 EOS， 并在每周解答大家一个最关心的问题。今天我们所要讨论的话题是 RAM。 什么是 RAM？ 在 EOS 中意味着什么？ BM 曾经说过， RAM 手续费可以使得 EOS 网络挣得的费用超过以太坊。他还说过 RAM 是一个伟大的 APP demo。 这些到底是什么意思？今天就让我们来听一听全球节点们怎么说。
What is RAM? RAM is required to store data on the blockchain and must be purchased. The price of RAM uses the Banker algorithm and automatically adjusts up and down depending on the buying and selling action. To prevent the speculation, a 0.5% fee is charged to anyone who trades RAM. This fee goes to the eosio.ram fee account and is available to use for future worker proposals or whatever the community decides. EOS RAM is mostly needed by developers who wish to create dApps in our blockchain, but it can also be used, of course, by accounts that want to interact with those dApps. RAM is a very valuable asset because it's limited. It is also important to mention that once you use RAM, you can also release it by deleting the data you are storing on the blockchain. In this sense, RAM is used like in any other computer, that it is occupied while you're using the program, but once you release the data from those dApps or from those programs, then you can have your RAM back. So this is RAM, you can buy and sell it on the EOS blockchain, and it is a very, very valuable asset.
RAM. For the whole world, RAM is volatile memory, something you store temporarily and then it vanishes. In EOS, it's a little bit different. We're using that as the main storage layer. You can imagine like if you're using a MySQL database, you're using the disk to store for persistent matters. But in EOS, we hold everything in RAM and it's for performance considerations. Today, Facebook stores also their MySQL database in RAM because it's faster. So EOS does that. And so now, where do we use RAM in EOS? Why do we want to use RAM? There's a resource limiting system in EOS that makes it so that if you write a transaction to the chain and it needs to store some data, all storage in EOS is stored in RAM. If you want to send a transaction that stores something on chain, you'll need to pay for the RAM. First example is new account. You want to create an account? Well, it happens you need to store your account name. It's 8 bytes, plus the key with which you're going to sign transaction. That's 64 bytes, 5 bytes. And then there's a little bit of other information there that makes up your account. And that sums up to, 600 bytes. Someone needs to pay for the RAM to allocate space in the memory of all the nodes in the world for that to be kept in RAM until it's destroyed. Hope that was useful. We're going to see you around. Thanks and goodbye.
Hi, this is Roman of Crypto Lions. What is the value and use of RAM in EOS? Well, RAM in EOS is similar to RAM on your personal computer or personal device. It's just the memory where applications store information. It's interesting in EOS because EOS, of course, runs decentralized applications, so you're storing memory not on one computer, but on the servers of all the block producers, including Crypto Lions. So how valuable is RAM? The short answer is I don't know. The market first thought that RAM was extremely valuable and they pushed the price up, and then they decided it wasn't so valuable and the price came crashing down. A lot is being discussed of whether we should change this, how we should change this, so a lot may still change. But for now, I think the important thing to know is that one EOS token worth of RAM will get you several transactions per minute, and as little as 0.001 tokens will get you about one transaction per day, and it is up to all of us to decide how valuable that is for us.
램 가격은 뱅코러라고 하는 알고리즘에 의해서 결정이 되는데요. 수요와 공급이 영향을 미칩니다. 공급은 아시다시피 64GB로 고정되어 있으니까 수요가 영향을 미치는 유일한 요인입니다. 저희는 현재는 투기 수요가 많다고 보는데요. 그 이유는 첫 번째, 사람들이 램을 사서 사용하고 있지 않습니다. 많은 비율이 유유램으로 점유당하고 있고요. 또 한 가지 이유는 계정을 하나 생성하는데 7EOS나 필요합니다. 이는 중화된 서비스에 비해서도 매우 비싼 비용입니다. 그래서 이런 사용자들의 유입 허들을 낮추고 덱 개발사가 많은 덱을 개발해서 이오스 생태계가 활성화되기 위해서는 이 램 가격 문제를 꼭 해결해야 된다고 생각합니다.
Today we're going to talk about RAM and what factors could potentially affect the price of RAM, right?
Yes.
So let's see RAM as a commodity. The economic theory behind a commodity says that there's basically two factors affecting it, right? It's supply, it's demand. If we fixate the supply and the demand increases for our commodity, well, price goes up. If we fixate the supply and the demand goes down, well, price goes down.
I like it.
What's important, however, to remember is as of now, there's not really that much apps or dApps deployed on the EOS blockchain. But eventually, as the interest of EOS grows, more and more dApp developers will want to deploy their apps on the blockchain. But in order to not increase the demand too much and fixate the supply, we as block producers, we need to make sure that we increase the RAM so it doesn't become too expensive to deploy an app.
I agree.
That it's not really, well, it has to do with supply and demand, but it doesn't have to do with deploying an app. And that's speculation. And basically, like any speculation, if people think that people are going to eventually want to buy RAM, they could now buy RAM cheap and then sell it on to someone else more expensive. We as block producers, we don't think that's a great idea because we have the responsibility to make sure that the blockchain is as attractive as possible for a dApp developer to deploy their apps. So, with a few kind of, let me say, regulations and by keeping a nice steady flow of RAM, we can balance the supply and demand, and we can make sure that EOS is a good and attractive platform to deploy dApps. Thank you.
Hey, this is Kevin Rose, co-founder and head of community of EOS New York, and today I want to talk to you about the pace of ecological development on EOS and its relationship to the cost of RAM. Now, we all know that EOS is only as valuable as what we build on top of it, so we need to position the EOS blockchain as an attractive place for developers. Now, is EOS an attractive place for developers right now in terms of cost? The answer is yes. EOS is still the cheapest decentralized application development platform for developers to build on. If you were to look at Ethereum, for example, sure, the accounts are free, but the cost to transact never goes away. There is an upfront cost for EOS, and then it's free to transact thereafter. And even if you were to stake much of your resources, you'd be able to free those up and get them back when you're done. Now, this is a huge and important detail that we need to remember. And also we need to remember that we're only about 3 weeks in, and we need to allow time for the market to find an equilibrium point for the price. And we also need to allow developers to understand that they need to approach development on EOS with a RAM optimization mindset. They need to optimize their DApp for RAM use. Now, all these things together give you the short answer of we don't know yet. We don't know what the price of RAM will do to the pace of ecological development, because we don't really know if the price is too high or too low, because we haven't found equilibrium yet. The good news is that if we do find the price is too high, and we do find that the mechanism, the market maker, the Bancor algorithm for RAM isn't doing a good job, we can change it. We can add supply to RAM, or we can propose changes to the system contracts itself that govern the price of RAM. So there's a lot we can do, but there is a lot we need to learn before we do anything. So the answer is be patient. We're not sure yet, and stay tuned.
On each chain, RAM will always be a limited resource. So over time, as the demand for RAM grows for dApp developers, the price will definitely increase. And unfortunately, right now, the hyper volatility comes from speculation and not from actual use of the RAM. So to deal with it, the community can take 3 different things. Number 1, the Bancor algorithm can be tweaked to reduce the hyper volatility, and I believe this is already happening. And number 2, dApp developers need to architect their dApp so that it's memory efficient and use as little RAM as possible. And this is something that EOS Asia, we did when we were working on our own dApp. We have a use case where we have to store a massive amount of data. And instead of storing them in memory, we created a second layer chain that we store in there. The third way that I believe is, since each chain will have a finite RAM, but we can create many side chains that increase the total supply of the RAM across the entire ecosystem. So I believe the future will consist of one main chain, but many side chains.
关于 RAM 价格过高的问题呢，社区大概会从下面2个方面入手解决这个问题。第一个方面是 Block One 官方提出的一个由3个部分构成的方案。首先呢是建议更新系统合约，在系统合约内呢加入 RAM 的增发机制。具体的提议是说，在每生成一个新块的时候呢，增发1 KB 的 RAM。按照这个速度的话，每年大概会增发64 GB 的 RAM。其次呢是在当前的系统合约下呢，创建新的 EOS 账户的时候呢，必须为新账户购买3 KB 的 RAM。经过 Block One 的分析呢，这个值其实是可以优化到 1.5 KB 的，也就是说，单就新账户创建时候的 RAM 成本呢，就可以直接降低 50%。那么这个更新大概会在7月31号之前准备完毕，最终通过 BP 多签的方式部署到 EOS 主网。最后呢，Block One 正在开发一款 iOS 钱包客户端，这款钱包据说非常有可能会内建免费的账户创建功能，那么这个也会降低新用户加入 EOS 网络的门槛。那么除了 Block One 官方提出的这个方案呢，第二点其实关于 RAM 价格过高的更好的解决方案其实是跨链技术。跨链技术一旦成熟的话，链上存储就可以从主网的 RAM 扩展到其他各种各样的侧链的 RAM， 那么主网 RAM 的需求也会降低，价格自然就会下降。但是呢 EOS 的跨链技术呢还在开发过程中，暂时呢还用不起来，因此我们 EOS 老猫节点呢联合了一些其他的中文节点，发起了 CryptoKalin 麒麟测试网络，共同发起了麒麟测试网络。目的呢是有2个，第一个呢是为了给 dApp 开发者提供一个全功能的，同时成本非常低的 开发和测试环境。第二点呢，是 CryptoKalin 测试网络的技术小组呢，是希望借此能够积累更多的技术经验，并且也会持续的跟进跨链技术的演进和发展，以便我们可以在跨链方案成熟的时候呢，能够有技术实力启动侧链供开发者进行测试，从而最终达到降低主网 RAM 价格以及降低开发者开发成本的目的。
非常感谢节点们的分享。RAM 控制在一个合理的价格范围内，相信是每一位希望看到区块链行业真正发展的人们所期望的。希望有越来越多的人才加入到区块链创业浪潮，缩短区块链大范围应用落地的时间。我们的节目每周二播出，欢迎你给我们留言，我们会收集大家所关心的问题，下周二由节点来为大家解答。那我们就下周二见喽，拜拜。To the great support of EOS 老猫，EOS 老猫 focus on EOS psychology.